Hey guys, I'm back. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to do something that I've been procrastinating on doing. It's been way too long. I have no choice to do it. And this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be installing this plow, which I've had in the backyard since midsummer, onto the Big Bear. Why, you ask? I mean, I also have a bunch of steel lying around the shop that I've been tripping all over. Well, let's go see why. That's why. This is like our second or third snowfall. It's not huge. It's not like it's got a lot of weight to it, or it's not extremely deep. But I'm already over it. I mean, I hate shoveling. I'm hoping the Big Bear is going to help me out. And I've got another 3 or 4 months of this. Before we get into the video, I'd like to take a moment to thank my sponsor. Enter sponsor name here. For sponsoring this video. If you guys like the video, please consider subscribing. If you have a difficulty subscribing, make sure you're logged into your Google account, and while you're there, you might as well share the video and maybe give me a thumbs up too. But anyways, again, I'd like to thank, enter sponsor name here, for helping guys like me create new content and keep guys like you entertained for a long time to come. So, let's get to the video. Alright, so this is my plan. So, this part of the plow allows me to go left to right, to angle it and lock it in place, which is really good, because that makes it much easier to move snow when you don't have a full blade and you're not always leaving wing rows. So, knowing that we know this part is moving, I'm going to be using some of that steel on the ground over there, and I'm going to put it along the sides here, maybe weld it up really nice, which is going to make a push frame that's going to connect all the way back here to the foot pegs right here. Now you're probably wondering, well, why is that there? I mean, that's not actually a stock part, and you're right, neither is this giant plate up front here with a pin. This actually had a plow. My uncle made a plow for this thing. It was freaking awesome, and it had a push frame and the whole bit, and I was given the plow to use it on my sidekick. I added wings to it because the sidekick was obviously wider than what this plow was. I still have the plow, however I got rid of the plow frame and I cut it up a long time ago to do various projects. So knowing that my other plow is 7 feet wide, I don't think the Big Bear can handle that much. So I bought another plow. I still kept the foot pegs on there. So we're just going to have to kind of go with the flow here. So my first thing, I'm not even 100% sure here, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the distance between this one and the other one, this way, side to side. And that is going to give me an idea of how wide the whole push frame is going to be and how much of an angle I'm going to have to do to get it onto these other sides here. Probably a whole bunch of cutting, a whole bunch of welding. But what I need to figure out as well is how I'm going to attach the piece of square tubing to that. And I have an idea. So I've got a chunk of steel here that I've had lying around in the backyard for a long time. Don't really know what to do with it anymore. Obviously it's been cut out for something. I don't know, another one of my projects probably. So I'm going to make myself a template, and I'm going to try and transfer it over to this, cut it out, and weld the template onto the end, one end of the square tubing. Yeah. This is the template I came up with, guys. It's going to be enough to do 2 out of this plate right here, which is awesome. So the plan is to also have this little guy that's going to follow in there. It's going to go right here, and it's going to lock onto the pin so that we can go, obviously all the pressure is going to be going towards this corner, pushing the snow this way. But if we decide to back up, we don't want this thing to fall off every time. So this is hopefully going to be strong enough to just keep it in place. And I also made you guys a high-tech, fancy blueprint so you guys can follow along. And here it is. Sorry, not exactly fantastic, but you'll get the idea. So this little guy, these are the pins in the back that we saw earlier. This guy here is going to pivot on these pins to give me some lift at the end of the plow over here. I'm going to put a crosser to make sure that those bars aren't going to collapse onto each other. This is the pivot pin for the plow, and this is my little lock. Yeah, right? I mean, not bad. And by the way, 500 points to anybody who comments and who gets it right. What made these divots on this cardboard? Very important. Anyways, let's go see what this looks like on the bike. So pulling up the template here, you'll notice that it's cut up, or cut off, I should say, here. And the reason for that is because if it was the same distance here, I wouldn't be able to get any attitude up. So I couldn't, let's say, raise the plow. So that should work just nicely here. We're going to have the push frame going to the bottom, welded here. And then this little guy, which I was talking about earlier, with its super intrigued high-tech angle of exactly 17 degrees, I think, is going to go here. I'm going to have a couple of bolts here holding it so that it cannot allow any of this to fall backwards this way. And I hope it doesn't do exactly what I'm doing now, which is bend. But hopefully that'll be strong enough, and it'll still give me the ability to go up and down on the plow. So now all that's left to do is to make this out of steel, all of this. That's what that was. Ooh, that got hot really quick. I just burnt a hole in my shirt. Maybe I best not point this towards me. Just remember that, guys, next time you grind anything. Holy cow, that got hot. Woo! Alright, let's keep going at this. So far, we're not quite done. I couldn't find my hole saw, so I ended up drilling a bunch of little holes, and I'm going to file them down. That's why it looks like it does here. And they're not exactly perfectly symmetrical, but it's the best I could do without a CNC machine. So I'm going to finish off that curve here. I'm going to have to file that a little bit. I'm going to position these into place. I'm going to drill those, and I think I'm going to tap these because the material is pretty thick, and I don't think it needs to be super strong. So I'm going to try that. In worst case scenario, if it breaks, I'll just open up the holes, put a bigger bolt and a nut behind it. But I think tapping is going to be so much easier for install. So yeah, then we just have to kind of clean all this up. From that point there, we'll be able to make some more measurements, start building the push frame forward, and tying it to this. of truth. Let's see if this fits. Oh yeah, beautiful. Nice and tight. It's not gonna vibrate too much. It'll wear itself in anyways. I got a little bit of play between the bolts here if I needed to. It's a little on the tight side. I might have to rework that a little bit, but I'm happy with it for now. So now we're just gonna have to do some measurements. I'm gonna put 2 plates on both sides, measure distance in between, and I think I'm gonna run the plow frame on the inside, keep it a little bit on the narrower end of things. So a whole pile of measurements to do. Let's get to that. Okay, so what do we have here? Well, first of all, they're not exactly quite square, so that would look a little better there. That's because this one's going to go out. Still got lots of room, so let's just go with, on the inside we have 15 and 3/4, almost 16 inches. So let's go with 16 for a round number. And yeah, 16 inches. I'm in Canada, right guys? And of course, we use a metric system here, but every time I make something, I end up using inches or feet. I don't know why. Huh. After much deliberation, lots of thought, and a couple of root beers, I'm not so sure if I'm happy with my design just yet. I have a couple of concerns, one of which is if it's going to raise high enough off the ground once it's all built up. But I mean, this is starting to look more and more like a blueprint. Got a little bit more dimensions involved here. It's kind of easier to follow. But we're going to carry on with the build. We're going to tack everything together. That way there, if there's any changes that need to be made, it's not going to be too difficult to do. Just as I suspected, it's not raising quite high enough, not nearly high enough. I mean, that's about, if I can get the tape to face you guys, it's actually not even quite 2 inches. So that ain't gonna cut it. A couple more things I need to tackle. I need to tackle these springs because they're not quite long enough to connect over here. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to do something there because right now I've just got this bungee cord holding everything up for show and tell here. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to move on with this just yet. So for that reason, without making you guys sit and wait, I'm going to end the video. I'm going to thank you guys for watching, and don't worry, I'm going to make another video. I'm going to keep you posted on what's going to happen next. I'm going to have to probably go back to the hardware store, get a few parts. I do have a good idea in mind. And I do say good idea, hopefully it works. And we'll carry on with the build, because I do need it. I need to make this thing push some snow. Anyways, see you guys in the next video.